Hi there, it's Saturday, so here's your Muggles History of Magic. Okay, everybody, please bear with me this week. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I may or may not look like I was hit by the Hogwarts Express. I'm also holding the camera by hand right now, so it might be a little bit shaky, so I apologize. I have a couple notes for Nathaniel. First of all, Hagrid's age. He's not 54. He's actually more like 64. But J.K. Rowling has said that wizards don't actually age at the same rate as Muggles. So although Hagrid is 64, he kind of is more like about 40 in Muggle years. Dumbledore is at this point 150, and I don't think that's in the books. It might be, but as far as I know, we get that information just from an interview that J.K. Rowling did at some point that said that Dumbledore is about 150 during the series. Talking about Hagrid's character and him making the unwise decision of telling 12-year-old boys to go walk around in the Forbidden Forest in the middle of the night, it's, not the best idea, but I think Hagrid tends to trust monsters, and I think that has something to do with him, just the way that people perceive Hagrid. Upon first looking at him, he's so scary, and yet he's the sweetest, gentlest man in the world. Well, unless you get him angry, but I think that because he knows his own nature, he expects other possibly scary things and people to also have that sweet nature, and it just doesn't occur to him that that's not the case. So I don't think we can blame Hagrid for his poor decision making. I think that he's just a little naive still, even though he's 64. Also, Cornelius Fudge. Like you said, yes, Minister of Magic. It's not a job for the faint of heart. It's also not a job for idiots. And yet, we have Fudge. So clearly, I am on Karina's side in the whole Fudge debate. No Fudge. Quickly, I want to point out Hermione's crush on Professor Lockhart. And yes, he's incredibly annoying, and yes, it's very silly that Hermione has such a crush on Professor Lockhart. But I really like that she has it. And the reason for that is Hermione is extraordinary in a lot of ways. She's the voice of reason. She's highly intelligent. But she's still a 13-year-old girl, and I think this silly crush on Professor Lockhart is instrumental in showing that she is a regular teenage girl with silly thoughts about boys, even stupid ones. My favorite line from this section comes after Ginny's lovely poem for Harry on Valentine's Day, and it just says, "Harry would have given all the gold in Gringotts to evaporate on the spot." And I like it because I feel the exact same way. Oh, Ginny Weasley, why must you be such a lunatic? I understand that you are an 11-year-old girl, but really, the amount of secondhand embarrassment I am feeling for you right now is extreme. Oh, this is why I can't stand Ginny right now, in the beginning. Also in these chapters, we spend a little bit of time with Lucius Malfoy, and I'm kind of spending more time than usual on characterization this week, but I'm just going to go with it. I just have to say, poor Draco. The kid never stood a chance. His father, really, Lucius Malfoy, why do you have to be such a jerk? All the time. You are here watching this man who you know is not attacking students. You know that perfectly well. You're watching him be carted away to prison. Is now really the time to insult his home? I don't think so. Just stop being mean. And finally, to our very brief history lesson for this week. First of all, Acromantula, the giant spiders. A somewhat original concept. We don't see them in folklore and myth and legend, anything like that. Now, we do have, and I say a somewhat original concept because just because they're not in history doesn't mean that she made them up entirely. We definitely see giant spiders as villains in other literary works, especially. I'm going to bring up Tolkien here. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit both have giant spiders that are scary and attack people. Well, I say people, elves and hobbits, but characters, they get attacked by giant spiders. So the only history with the giant spiders is just the normal human fear of spiders in general. It's a phobia that's fairly common. Ron has it. It's not always logical, because they're not usually there to hurt you. But we tend to be afraid of them. Probably a lot more so when they're gigantic and actively trying to eat you. A concept that I haven't talked about that is not original is the invisibility cloak. There's lots of garments that provide invisibility, especially in Greek mythology. Hades has a hat, and there's some rings and things like that. Once again, bringing up Tolkien. Of cloaks and coats themselves, they actually come up in Grimm's fairy tales, some Norse and Austrian folklore, and some English folklore. And in those tales, they're used for a few different things, some deception, some protecting underground treasure, and one is worn by a gentleman named Jack the Giant Killer, so you can pretty much assume that he uses his invisibility cloak to kill some giants. But that kind of just brought up a thought for me, which was, if you're invisible, you can pretty much do anything without consequence. And that says something about Harry's character. What have we seen him use his cloak for so far? We've seen him use it to visit the Mirror of Erised and stare at his parents for hours. We've seen him use it to do Hagrid a favor and try and get Norbert out of the castle. And now we've seen him use it to go sneak into the forest in the middle of the night and follow some spiders. Conclusion I'm drawing just from this is that Harry is a loyal, brave kid with a hero complex and a longing to connect with his family. And I think that's pretty accurate at this point. That's all I have for this week. Join us next week. We are finishing Chamber of Secrets, and everything's going to happen next week, so we'll see you there.